Hà Nội, thành phố có lịch sử hơn 1.000 năm, thủ đô của Việt Nam và là nơi ở của hơn 7 triệu người. Và trong số đó cũng có hàng nghìn người Tây. Họ đến đây để dạy ngoại ngữ, làm kinh doanh hoặc làm nhiều công việc khác nữa. Họ chủ yếu đến từ những nơi, chân thành mà nói, phát triển hơn, quy củ hơn và yên tĩnh hơn Hà Nội. Nên có một câu hỏi hay xuất hiện trong đầu của người Việt là tại sao họ lại chọn ở đây? Và mình đã đi tham khảo mấy bản Tây của mình để tìm ra câu trả lời.
I guess it wasn't always on my radar, but I had a lot of friends that were here and saying you should come out here, it's great, you know, it's a good life.
And I had a friend who was in Hanoi as part of his world tour, and he was like, I think you'll really like this place, you should come. And within a week, I had a job, I had an apartment, and I was here.
We had a Skype conversation and he told me about Vietnam and it sounded interesting, so I thought I'd come for a bit. He left about 2 years ago and I'm still here.
Vietnam, it wasn't necessarily in my mind. I hadn't, thought about living there, but I found a good job online, and then, yeah, as soon as I came in, I was hooked, I suppose.
I was really interested because Thailand was my only Asian experience, and it's totally different to Thailand.
This was much more the Asia I kind of envisioned when I first moved to Bangkok. Bangkok's very modern, big, sprawling city. And then I get out here, and as soon as I'm leaving the airport, I saw chickens running across the roads and piles of bricks everywhere. And I don't know, it's a little more disorganized, a little bit more the energy I was envisioning when I moved out to Asia.
There's that certain sort of drive and buzz, I guess, about Hanoi, which has always been there whenever I've lived here.
Even though Hanoi is huge by population, there's lots of people here, it still kind of has a more relaxed feel to me.
There's just like an energy that's happening in Hanoi. There's a lot of young people here. Like if you look around, the Vietnamese population is quite young. So it seems like this is a country that is, going to keep improving. Things are going to get better here.
I actually found Vietnamese people and culture quite refreshing after Thailand because it's more similar to British in a way. And in Thailand they're very smiley and open immediately. And in Vietnam they can, they're not as smiley or welcoming at first, but actually I find once you speak to them they are more genuinely interested.
That's another thing I like about it, the people here are so real. It's a little bit shocking at first, but it's refreshing that they're not being fake. They're gonna tell you how it is.
I remember when I first came, going into a clothing store around 1 p.m. and I walked in and the woman just took one look at me and she was like, no, too big, fat. And I was like, okay, well, at the time I was really insulted, but then, I was like, okay, those are the words she knew and I didn't have to waste my time looking in the shop.
So when you came here and started riding a motorbike around, how did you feel about it?
Terrified.
Yeah, that's actually one of the draws about living here is you get a big sense of freedom from having a motorbike.
There's a certain independence about it, which is really nice.
And that's just that freedom which is different from driving around in the UK.
This sense of freedom that if I just want to travel 5 kilometers, I can just jump on my bike, go to exactly where I want, and I'm there. Also, Hanoi is probably the best food city I've lived in.
But yeah, the food is probably the first thing that I remember. And I hadn't really read about the food much or been told about it much. And that's probably one of the main things that I still enjoy about it now.
I think Vietnamese cuisine is my favourite in the world. I love Thai food as well, but I think Vietnamese food wins on variety.
Pretty much like everything except for mum tum.
What are some of your favorite spots?
I don't really want to give them away. But
Well, all right.
definitely the most enjoyable place to teach that I've been to so far. Firstly, the students. I find here there's a really good attitude towards education.
I work with kids back in America too, and just their attitude towards education here makes it a lot easier to be a teacher.
I think most Vietnamese students are quite motivated.
They're definitely harder working than English students.
And I also find there's quite a natural curiosity that want to know lots of things about the rest of the world. And yeah, I see this kind of like thirst for knowledge, which obviously is really satisfying when you're in a classroom teaching a bunch of people.
I still really like Thanh Nguyen. That road, that street is just one of my favorite places.
I still love the old quarter. I know it's not a lot of people's favorite just because all the tourists and all the traffic.
For me, like, the old quarter is a lot of what Hanoi is.
I still like riding around Quan Kiem Lake sometimes. You know, if it's that time of night when there's not nearly as many people around or something, I might take a slight detour for my trip just to do a quick round.
I cycle every morning around Westlake, and that's the highlight of my day every day. So I love Hanoi at 5 a.m.
I love being surprised by like these beautiful temples that are just tucked away. Just like, wow, like this is where I live. This is so beautiful.
I just feel very comfortable here as well. And in fact, I almost get like a reverse culture shock when I go back home.
Back home is boring. It's predictable.
Whenever I go home, I'm astounded at how quiet everything is. That's part of the beauty of Hanoi, is the chaos.
It's like anything's kind of possible.
Living here, I still, even though I've been here for around 2.5 years in total now, I still can walk out of my house and see something happening that I've never seen before. I think I'll always come back to Hanoi, but maybe I'll leave, explore something else, realise that I miss Hanoi again, come back, and yeah, that may keep happening.
For the rest of your life?
Yeah.